Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today I'm doing some Shining Sarcophagus test hands. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting a requested deck profile every single month you're a patron. If you guys would like to check out the deck profile used in this video, it is down in the description down below. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So this deck is an amazing deck that's actually based around the ceremonial duel between Yugioh and a Tim. And it's such a fun deck to be able to play because you can establish an insane field with this deck. And this deck has so many one-card starters, it's insane. But you guys know it's dad rule number one that we've got to pile shuffle the deck or you run the risk of bricking. So let's go ahead and pile shuffle the deck. And then we're going to give the deck a quick shuffle and see what we can do for our first test hand. This deck is so fun to be able to play, and it's insane how powerful it actually is. So let's go ahead and shuffle up the deck and then see what we can do. So we're going to give the deck a quick shuffle and then go in for our first test hand. So we're going to go ahead and draw into a copy of Shifter, Future Silence, a copy of Dark Magician, Silent Magician 0, and a Crossout Designator. This is actually a really powerful opening hand. So we're going to go ahead and activate Shifter during the draw phase because we can actually play completely under Shifter in this deck. So we're going to go ahead and activate our copy of Future Silence, which is going to let us add a monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from our deck to our hand, basically the Rhoda for the deck. We're going to add a copy of Gadget Trio, and we're basically guaranteed that it's going to go off because we do play Ash in the deck, and we can basically use Crossout Designator to stop our opponent, so we do have a way to stop our opponent from hand trapping us. So we're going to go ahead and use that effect. This would actually be banished. We're going to normal summon out that Gadget Trio, and Gadget Trio will go off, letting us add Shining Sarcophagus from our deck to our hand. Now, Shining Sarcophagus is also a searcher for every single turn, as during your main phase, you can actually add a card that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand. So we're going to instantly add from our deck to our hand a card that mentions Shining Sarcophagus, which is going to be Ties That Bind. We're then going to activate Ties That Bind and instantly special summon from our deck two monsters that are level 4 or lower that mention Shining Sarcophagus, which is going to be Silent Magician 0 and Silent Swordsman 0, because that actually gives us targeting negation and spell negation, which is amazing. The copy of Silent Swordsman 0 is amazing because this card during the standby phase actually gets its level increased by 1, and while this card's level is higher than its original level, it gains attack equal to the difference times 500, which both of these monsters share that ability, but this card is every time your opponent draws a card, and this is just every standby phase, it goes up. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get rid of this Ties That Bind, and then we're going to set our copy of Crossout Designator to our side of the field and pass over the opponent. I like to keep Dark Magician in my hand because we can easily go in for a copy of Dragoon on the follow-up when we summon out Gandora G. So at this point, we're going to pass over to the opponent, and during the draw phase, this card is going to go up by 1 because they drew a card, and then this card during the standby phase is going to also go up by 1, making these cards 1,500 a piece because they are 1 level higher than their original levels. Your opponent at this point is having to play under a basically targeting negation, spell negation, and basically Shifter, which is insane to basically play under. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and say they don't really do anything, and they're going to pass over back to us. So we're going to go ahead and draw into a copy of Nibiru. That would have been really nice against the opponent, but it's totally fine because we already established a really good field. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and use Shining Sarcophagus to be able to add from our deck to our hand a copy of Gandora G. And this is where I'm going to actually show you guys exactly how to summon to your side of the field a copy of Dragoon. So what we're going to do is summon out our copy of our Dark Magician and summon out our copy of Gandora G. We can then use the effect of Gandora G to pay half our life points and destroy as many cards on the field as possible, and if we do, banish them. But our copy of Shining Sarcophagus cannot be destroyed by monster effects, so it doesn't affect Shining Sarcophagus. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and destroy 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 cards. And once we do destroy all 5 of these cards, they will all become banished, and Gandora G will go off and let us actually special summon a level 7 or lower monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from our deck, which usually would be our copy of Silent Magician 0, but we already have it on our hand, which is a little bit of a downside of this particular hand. But if you do summon a card off of Gandora G, usually summon out your copy of Silent Magician 0 because it's the best target. But since we don't have it, we're just going to instantly special summon out our copy of Gadget Trio because we do get a search off of Gadget Trio. Now, Gadget Trio will go up by a bunch of levels, which is important. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels for our copy of Gandora G, basically increasing this card's level, which is not that big of a deal to make it a level 9 Gadget Trio. And then we're going to be able to actually activate the copy of Dark Magician and Gadget Trio. So this card is actually going to go off, and we're going to be able to special summon this card back to our side of the field. Because if this card is destroyed by card effect and level 5 or higher monsters on the field, special summon this card, then set a spell or trap that mentions Dark Magician. This card is also treated as Dark Magician while it's on the field. So we're going to be able to set to our side of the field our copy of Secrets of Dark Magic. That's really important to be able to set our copy of Secrets of Dark Magic to our side of the field, because now we, during the opponent's turn, can use both of these to step into a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon using our copy of Secrets of Dark Magic. Gadget Trio will also go off and let us add from our deck to our hand another copy of Ties That Bind, which will just let us summon out one monster because we have not normal summoned for the 3rd turn of this duel. So we're going to go ahead and normal summon out our copy of Silent Magician 0, activate Ties That Bind. Ties That Bind says if you control a Shining Sarcophagus and a monster that mentions it, you can actually special summon up to 2 monsters that are level 4 or lower with different names. So we're going to go ahead and just instantly summon out from our deck our copy of our Marshmelon, which is the best play at this point to actually summon out the Marshmelon to our side of the field. And now we are locked out of the extract. So during the opponent's turn, they're going to go ahead and go. This is turn 4 at this point, but I want to show you guys a really important interaction in the deck. We're going to be able to actually increase this card's level by 1, and we're going to be able to activate Secrets of Dark Magic, turning both of these monsters into a copy of Dragoon, which is actually how you summon out Dragoon in this deck, which is what I wanted to show you guys about this particular build. Now, something important about establishing Marshmelon or Marshmelon in our copy of Dragoon is Dragoon's one weakness is that it can be destroyed by battle. But this card actually protects you from it, because while you control Shining Sarcophagus, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except this one, meaning if you have this on the field, it cannot be destroyed by battle, and they have to attack more Marshmelon, and it protects your copy of Dragoon. So it's very difficult to deal with this card. It basically becomes towers, and you can use it as a negate by discarding this, which will make it go up by 1,000 additional attack points. And you have the copy of Silent Magician 0. That's also a spell negate. So you have a spell negate and a negate for anything, and they cannot be destroyed by battle, which is insane. So that's a really cool combo for the deck to show you guys the basic mechanics of the deck with Ties That Bind, the 1-card starters, and all the really cool plays that you can actually go into using this deck. So let's go ahead and go into the next combo. And it even showed you how to play under Shifter. That's actually one of the most important test hands you guys are probably going to see on all of YouTube on how to actually play Shining Sarcophagus, because that showed you everything. That showed you guys how to play under Shifter, Dragoon, and it showed you how to actually use Ties That Bind in the deck. So definitely give us a like for that one. If you guys like, check out the deck profile. Definitely check it out down in the description down below. So let's go into our next test hand and see what we can do, because that was pretty cool. We actually established basically everything the deck does. So we're going to go ahead and draw. We're going to draw into a copy of Gadget Trio. That's full combo. Infinite Impermanence, Shining Sarcophagus, Ash Blossom, and a copy of Future Silence. That's insane. We drew all 3 of our 1-card starters. So I want to show you guys that really quickly. There's actually all 3 of our 1-card starters for the deck. So you actually have like 9 1-card starters in the deck, which is insane. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just basically activate our copy of our Shining Sarcophagus. It's not an immediate activation that you have to search. You can search on the follow-up. You don't have to immediately go off. So we're going to activate Future Silence and add a monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from our deck to our hand. So I'm actually going to add from my deck to my hand a copy of Dark Magician, and then on the copy of the Shining Sarcophagus, I'm going to immediately add a copy of Gandora G. Gandora G is great to be able to add here because this card is just going to help you out so much overall. Because now we're going to special summon them both out to our side of the field, use the Gandora G's effect, destroy and banish Dark Magician. Dark Magician will go off, and Gandora G. So the copy of the Gandora G will bring out the Silent Magician 0, increasing its level by 1. Make sure you use the Timaeus dice because it is a Yugi deck. And we're going to immediately use the effect of Dark Magician to bring itself back on the resolution. We bring back Dark Magician, and Dark Magician will let us set the secrets of dark magic. And we have not even normal summoned yet off this particular combo. We're going to normal summon Gadget Trio. Gadget Trio goes off and actually lets us add a card that mentions Shining Sarcophagus or Spell Trap from our deck to our hand. We're going to add Ties That Bind from our deck to our hand. And you can just stop here if you want to. You can instead, if you want to play around Nibiru, you can stop here if you want to and not search Ties That Bind, because the Silent Magician or Silent Swordsman 0 is basically a targeting negation. So you can just leave it like this and just search a different card off the copy of the Gadget Trio, because we already played into it. So let's go ahead and just do this, because we actually summoned back the Dark Magician. That was the 5th summon, normal summoning it. So we're going to go ahead and just basically shuffle it up. You can hold this in your hand instead if you want to, but if you're already committed, you're already committed. So what we're going to do is go ahead and activate the copy of Ties That Bind, and we're going to go ahead and use its effect to be able to special summon a More Marshmallow. More Marshmallow is the greatest summon in the world, because this card is going to help us protect Dragoon like we did in the first hand. Now we're going to pass over to the opponent, and during the standby phase is actually going to go up because they drew, and we're going to go ahead and then, or actually during the draw phase since they drew, we have 2 hand traps in our hand, and we can immediately go in for Secrets of Dark Magic and step into Dragoon. Now, once we establish our copy of Dragoon, we do have the copy of the Silent Magician 0 that's a spell negate. We have the copy of the More Marshmallow that's protecting everything from battle. And we also have an Imperm that we could have set to our side of the field. We should definitely set that to our side of the field. And the copy of Ash. So we have basically a bunch of negates. You can keep the Imperm in your hand. Probably better to keep the Imperm in your hand. I probably didn't even mess up. Probably keep the Imperm in your hand because you can use it with your copy of Dragoon to be able to discard and negate anything instead of a monster. So keep it like this. Didn't mess up. Keep it like this. You can discard this to stop a search. Then you use this with the Dragoon to negate something. Put it right there, and goes up by an additional 1,000 attack points, and then it's basically protected by battle because of More Marshmallow. So that is it for that test hand. Let's go into the next one and see what we can do. As you guys can see, the deck is super consistent. It's super fun to be able to play, and basically the only extra deck monster you ever really summon is Dragoon and a couple of Link monsters here and there, but it's very rare that you actually summon a Link monster in the deck, which is really nice about this deck. So let's go ahead and shuffle it up and see what we can do for our next one. This deck is so fun to be able to play, and it's insane the combos you can actually pull off with this deck. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle it up and see what we can do. So let's see what we can do for this one. Get that quick cut, and we're going to go ahead and draw. So we're going to draw into a copy of Ash Blossom, Pot of Prosperity, Infinite Impermanence, Silent Swordsman 0, and a copy of Nibiru. So we're going to immediately go in for that copy of Pot of Prosperity because we don't have anything insane in our hand. And that's the really cool thing about this is you can basically just banish random Link monsters. So we're going to get rid of the BLS, our copy of Unicorn, probably Cerberus, Phoenix, Zeus, and maybe I'd probably keep the rest of them. Keep Underworld, or get rid of Underworld. Get rid of this. This is totally fine. Or BLS. You could banish the BLS. Or you already banished BLS. So let's get rid of this. And then once we do, we're going to go ahead and look at the top 6 of our deck. So we're going to get a copy of Gandora G, Silent Magician 0, Future Silence, Shining Sarcophagus, and a copy of the Nibiru. I'm going to grab Shining Sarcophagus. Shining Sarcophagus is just really good to add because you're instantly going to establish it. So even if your opponent negates the Future Silence, you still got Shining Sarcophagus. So we're going to go ahead and activate Shining Sarcophagus, use its effect to be able to search. And once we do, we're going to grab our copy of Gadget Trio. Gadget Trio is great to be able to add, and then you've already got your 1-card starter. Now we're going to go ahead and normal summon Gadget Trio to our side of the field, use its effect, and instantly search from our deck to our hand our copy of Ties That Bind. Use Ties That Bind, and then instantly summon out your 2 monsters out to your side of the field, your copy of your Silent Magician 0, and your Silent Swordsman 0. That's the best play to instantly get both of these monsters out on your side of the field. Or you can summon out the More Marshmallow, since we already have the copy of the Silent Swordsman 0 in our hand. You can summon out the More Marshmallow just to give you more protection for battle. to your side of the field. This is another option. You can go in for a field like this instead. It's still a pretty good field because we've got basically a spell negate, we have a monster negate, and we have a search negate, and then all else fails, we have Nibiru. So that's a pretty good hand to be able to just stop the opponent, but that pretty much establishes what the deck kind of does. So for the follow-up, if our opponent doesn't really do anything and they can't out the field, we're going to go ahead and let this card go up by 1. They drew a card, and we're going to go ahead and draw. We draw on a Call by the Grave. We can just normal summon this, use the effect of Shining Sarcophagus, search out another monster. You can search out Gandor G if you want a board wipe, or if you don't want a board wipe, you can search out Dark Magician just as an additional monster to your side of the field. So we can just instantly put Dark Magician on the field and swing in like this if we feel like we can through the Dark Magician's effect. And you have the Imperm, you have Call By, you have Ash, you have Nibiru, you have everything with this field, which is really, really cool. That's the cool thing about this deck. As you guys play this deck, you'll realize you don't really go into the extract that much. You can establish an access code with this field, but you don't really need to unless you feel the need that you absolutely have to, because you're going to have to give up multiple monsters on your field. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. This deck is super fun to be able to play. It's so cool to be able to play. And definitely, if you guys want to learn how to play this deck, definitely watch that first test hand, because I did everything in the deck. It did absolutely everything. It summoned out Dragoon. It summoned out your copy of your Ties That Bind. It used Ties That Bind. It used everything. Like that did Under Shifter. I showed you guys every combo with the deck, which is just super, super cool. So definitely check out the deck profile down in the description down below. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell and their sync part notification squad. We'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.